Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market prep video for August 10th, 2021. Well, yesterday we had just kind of a blah day. Volumes were really light. Markets seemed to be lost. A wait and see attitude seemed to kind of take over the market here. And we just had a little bit of back and forth, a lot of choppiness, very light volumes. So what does that mean for today? Well, how about we settle in, buckle up. Let's get ready for the Tuesday edition of the Morning Market Prep video. Good morning once again, everyone. Hey, I want to apologize. This video is going to be a little bit later this morning. I had some technical difficulties this morning, and I'm sorry, the video is going to be just a little bit later than normal. Let's take a look at these indexes and see whether or not we can get some information about how we might want to approach the market for today. Now, obviously, we broke through some resistance here in this chart, and we're coming back to test it as support. So there does seem to be, there's no problem here. This is a very, very bullish looking chart. But there is just this noticeable decline in energy and volume in the market that the market seems to be waiting on something. And I'm not exactly sure what that is. Perhaps we're waiting for the infrastructure bill to pass. Perhaps we're waiting for the other $3.5 trillion package that they're trying to pass. Perhaps we're waiting to see what the CPI number is going to be on Wednesday. I don't exactly know, but we do have this interesting dynamic with falling volume, yet we continue to see a lack of energy from any bears whatsoever in the market. So just we're waiting on something, and I don't know which way we move from here. I have to give all credit to the bulls. The bulls continue to hold this bullish pattern. Everything looks good. This would be a perfect launching point to move higher. Yet at the same time, if we were to slip and drop down into here, those bears could certainly begin an attack. So kind of an interesting market right now. Let's take a look. Again, diamond's very bullish. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY also very bullish, yet we're just kind of lacking. Look at how light the volume has become. Just we're kind of wandering here a little bit. And although we broke through this consolidation up here, we seem to have dipped into a new consolidation here in the chart. And it's a very, very tight consolidation, as you can see, just extremely tight through here, where we're not getting a whole lot of energy either direction. And even as we see just blowout earning after blowout earning after blowout earning, it doesn't seem to be gaining a whole lot of ground here in the market. So what are we waiting for? I'm not sure. But let's watch that closely, because this does have that potential that we could really shift either direction really quickly once we find that inspiration point. Let's take a look at the Qs. QQQ also extremely bullish, but very lackluster. We saw the Qs holding up very bullishly yesterday, while the diamonds and SPY and IWM had a little bit of trouble. They were defiant here, holding up. We're trying to push them up again here this morning, although we see the diamonds and the SPY just a little tiny bit lower this morning. So very, very tight consolidation, and we seem to be once again waiting for something in this very bullish pattern, but we can't seem to find that inspiration to push on through. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM remains a bearish chart, and although we rallied up quite a bit and we have this little upside trend here overall, we have to just really take note that we are still below our 50-day moving average. And that 50-day moving average is flattening and maybe starting to turn just a little bit to the downside. So watch that closely. We have tremendous resistance up here in the chart as far as price goes. So watch that carefully. Perhaps we're waiting here as well. I'm not exactly sure what for, but we are waiting. Then let's take a look at our VIX. Now our VIX is another thing that is just adding a little bit of to the market. While we seem to be waiting, there seems to be little fear. We have broken this trend, that upside trend. We're staying below the 50-day moving average, but we're not gaining. The fear seems to be dropping or coming out of the market, but we're not seeing any bullish activity. So kind of an interesting thing, and one has to wonder if this is beginning to smack a little bit more of complacency than anything else. So watch that closely. Nothing bad here, but we just seem to be lackluster overall. Let's take a look at our T2122. This was interesting yesterday as well. T2122 pulled back. So we had we kind of finished the day right here in the middle of the range. Again, it's like we're sitting on a fence. We got one leg on either side. We can't decide whether we want to become bullish and push through to the upside or break down to the downside. We're just kind of in the middle here, trying to figure out what comes next. If we take a look at T2101, boy, I gotta tell you, seeing T2101 continuing to sink as we set up here near market highs, volumes dropping, you just have to wonder, are we setting up for a big move? That big move that could be that shocking move either to the upside or the downside. I'm not sure. I will say that more and more talking heads continue to come out warning of a potential correction, but we don't see any major bear activity out there. They just don't seem to have any teeth at the moment. So I don't exactly know what we're waiting on here, but there seems to be a palpable uncertainty in the market starting to build. And this is one of those things that can create some really big moves. We could get that big, shocking move either to upside or downside if we find out what it is that the market is waiting for. Let's take a look at our economic calendar for today. Now, our economic calendar, looking at it, we have very little today to really move the market around. We got productivity and costs here before the market opens. Can move the market, but not likely to move the market a lot. However, in a market that's so dead at the moment, maybe anything could provide that inspiration. And it is possible that we could be waiting for this. We could be waiting for that CPI to see whether or not that's going to come in inflationary and cause a problem. So that's perhaps what we're waiting for here. We'll have to, we have to wait and see. As I wrote in the morning blog this morning, it's a wait and see market. Let's take a look at our earnings calendar. Our earnings calendar today, we have close to 140 companies on the calendar, but we have a number of those that are unconfirmed. So I'm going to, just to save some time because I'm late on this, I'm going to just take a look at a couple real quick, and then we're going to move on. Coin will be reporting after the bell today. That's probably going to be one of the most heavily tracked here today on the notable reports. Keep a close eye on that. You might also want to keep an eye maybe on Weight Watchers, Go. We're going to have McAfee reporting today. Whoops, can't type. McAfee reporting today. So keep an eye on those. And if you want the full list of notables, guys, please click that link just below the title of the video. So how about we take a look at some stocks that could be setting up. But before we do that, guys, once again, if you could do me that quick favor, click that subscribe button, click those bell icons, click those thumbs up buttons, and leave a brief comment. All of that interaction with the video helps to continue to help those algorithms show these videos to more folks, and I truly appreciate your support. Yesterday was really humbling. Some great responses in the video. I truly appreciate that, guys. You guys humble me every day, and that's just not something I just say lightly. I truly appreciate it. And I also want to say a huge thank you to those folks supporting the channel through Buy Me a Coffee yesterday. There were several that came through there, surprising me, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Big shout out to you guys for supporting content like this. I truly appreciate it. Let's take a look at some stocks that could be setting up. And please keep in mind, guys, that these are not recommendations to buy or sell any security. These are meant as an aid to help you take a look at different charts, maybe set up some watch lists, those kind of things. So, but they are not a recommendation to buy or sell. And please make sure you're doing your own due diligence and you are following your own rules and guidelines, and understand the risk of your trading carefully. First off, let's take a look at XLF. Now, XLF has shot up here. We've had some really good bullish activity in the financials here recently. We just shot up here last Friday. We're continuing to extend in some of those charts. So take a look at stocks like Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley continued to run in a bullish move. Now, I wouldn't want to chase this move, but this is certainly so bullish. We have a nice bullish upside trend. You might want to wait for the next rest or consolidation pullback to take that opportunity into that chart to the upside. I'm going to have to put WFC on that list as well. Very bullish, breaking through resistance, all-time highs here in the chart. Watch this little resting consolidation that's starting to set up. We may have to consolidate a few more days out here toward the trend, but watch for that upside opportunity here in WFC, looking pretty darn good. If we take a look at Chewy. Chewy has been very bullish here, moving up in this trend, breaking through some resistance in the chart, kind of resting out here. And we had a bullish day yesterday, perking up in that chart. Let's keep an eye on this with a little bit of, maybe a little bit more consolidation. We might find that inspiration to push on through to the upside. Chewy looking good, and we know as pandemic numbers continue to kind of crop up all over the world, some of these online companies may produce pretty well. Let's take a look at utilities. Now I'm going to go to the XLU. XLU has been performing really well. Now I have to tell you, when I see XLU rallying, it gives me a little bit of concern that, well, this is kind of a safety play. Gives me a little bit of concern that we might be reaching some topping activity here in the market. But that said, this continues to be very bullish. Notice we broke through this resistance. We're going to test, see whether we can break through all-time highs here in the chart. XLU looking very strong, trying to consolidate here. Watch this closely. If that can find that inspiration to continue to follow this trend to the upside, we may perk on through and just move right on up to the upside, looking very bullish here. And by the way, with TC2000, it's easy to get into the stocks that make up XLU. Just real quick right there, click that one icon and you can take a look how bullish AEE is. DTE moving really nicely. So we have a lot of these stocks in this index looking pretty good and showing signs of bullishness. So keep a close eye on that. You might also want to take a look at some retail. We've had some impressive moves in retail here recently, and not just the big retailers. Take a look at TJX. TJX trying to break through some resistance to the upside here in that chart. We saw Kohl's trying to perk up yesterday, breaking this downtrend, trying to push up. Now, keep in mind, Kohl's still has some work to do, but we broke back through that 50-day moving average. It may require a little bit of a rest or consolidation in here, but we're seeing retail starting to pick up. It was even mentioned by one of the members of Right Way Options to take a look at Macy's yesterday, and Macy's perking up here pretty substantially. Now, breaking that downtrend, running into some price resistance levels here soon in the chart, but watch that closely. Retail looking pretty good overall. A lot of things starting to look very strong. Let's take a look at some of the big retail. Walmart has had a recent breakthrough of resistance here in the chart. We still have some resistance out here, and you'll want to keep in mind the coming earnings on that, but Walmart looking good, breaking through. I've been mentioning this for a while. Walmart does have that tendency it rallies toward earnings. So watch this closely. There is that possibility that we could rest here a little bit and then continue on up toward those earnings reports. So keep a close eye on that. Take a look at DKNG. I continue to bring this one up as that possibility. We're breaking this bigger downtrend. We're holding it as support, popping through some resistance levels. This rest or consolidation in here after breaking through could certainly set up to the upside. Let's watch that upside trend here. See if DKNG can get moving. DOCU. Whoops. DOCU. Continuing to look very, very bullish to the upside. Nice little upside trend holding in here, trying to move through to the upside. If you have a little flavor or a little taste for some risk and not too worried about some of these Chinese issues, take a look at NIO. There is a lot of pressure on these Chinese companies right now, a lot of issues, and we see news today that there are some additional restrictions starting to happen as the pandemic seems to be having a major impact over in China right now. But watch this closely. NIO trying to perk back up in here. This has been one of the market darlings here the last couple of years, and you can see coming back up, holding some support levels. Obviously, we still have a little bit of work here to do to break through, but you can see that possibility that could come at any time. Had a little bullishness yesterday, that opportunity that might pop through sometime soon. So with that, everyone, I'm going to cut this video just a little bit short on the normal timing, just because I am late today. I want to thank everyone so much for all of your support to the channel. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you right back here bright and early Wednesday morning. Have a great day, everyone.